You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm my friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. Roll with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. And it's Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. If we don't play, our wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's so way. Somebody please give this brother an IO. Come on.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devan, that's Melo, and as you can see, and as we've been telling you, man, we got a special guest with us tonight, Bobby from OnTexasFootball. Bobby, how you doing, man?
Good. How you guys doing tonight?
Blessed because we only have 13 days until the game, man. And I say the game because in my eyes, it's number one and number two. You can flip-flop them all you want. Obviously, I'm going to tell you Buckeyes are number one. You're going to say Texas is number one. We're aware of that. But we're going to dive into that tonight, man. Regardless of what each fan feels, it's going to be a heck of a football game, man. There's no doubt about it. But before we get into that chat, you guys know what to do, man. Hit that like button for us. Hit the subscribe button on both channels as well. Super chats are open. If you got any questions, we're going to be diving into Texas's depth chart, Texas starters tonight. You know, I don't follow Texas football, so I love getting the insight from the other teams' insiders and actually trying to understand their roster instead of with social media, man. There's so many rumors going around now and so much misinformation that you don't know what's true. So I'm excited, man. Buckeye fans, Texas fans, get in that chat, man, and let's make this an exciting show tonight. But let's start with the simple one, Bobby. How was your day, man? How was your day?
My day was pretty good. Steve Sarkisian had a press availability. We already know who our quarterback was. I guess y'all found out who yours was today for sure.
Yep.
Although I think there were probably some wagering going on that Julian Sayin would be the guy. But just like you guys, we're in the midst of college football season's here. I mean, we're 12 days out, and it's an exciting time to be around Austin or Columbus or any of the college football meccas out there right now. It's just a fun time. And so exciting for us.
Yeah, it is, man. I feel like I get more excited each year. But Melo, how about you, dude? Anything exciting today other than another day closer to the game?
Oh, yeah. My daughter's sitting here texting me about her boyfriend and the stuff that he's saying to her and asking, how do I break up with him? Can you tell me how to break up with him? And I'm just like, okay, I'm holla at ChatGPT and then send it to me. And she just texted me something that he wrote. And she was like, did he really just say that? And I'm sitting here laughing. I'm not going to repeat it on air what he said, but it was real feminine sounding like it's hilarious.
Boy,
so,
man.
I'm happy here. I watch Bobby's show every morning. I've been watching your show since the Cotton Bowl. Before the Cotton Bowl, and I've been following it, obviously, because I knew we were going to play the first game against you guys. So I wanted to get the intel on how your roster looks, stack it up against our roster, and see your perspective on how you viewed us and how you viewed yourself, and just go from there. Because, I mean, there's nothing else better to do during the offseason, right? Two blue bloods, two powerhouses, and to me, the two best teams in college football for next season. So, I mean, I enjoyed the offseason watching your show. I think you guys do a brilliant job over there. You guys can definitely go check it out if you want to learn more about Texas football. You have 12 days to learn as much as you can, so I highly recommend it.
Thank you, Mel. I was going to say this when you started talking about the two teams. Just an overview for me, and I don't know how y'all think about it, so I guess I'll ask you a question as well as part of this. At least from what I know of Texas and what I know of Ohio State, I think that both have a lot of new pieces that they're trying to put into the puzzle, right? They both, would y'all lose 13 guys in the NFL draft? Texas lost 12 or 13 or 14. Is that right?
We lost 14 total, 13 to the draft.
Yeah. So Texas lost 12 to the draft and 13 total. So very similar, right? In that regard. I think that both of these teams have two things. They were really good last year. Obviously, Ohio State won the national championship. Congratulations, by the way. It's you really, really good football team.
Appreciate it.
The issue that both of these teams have is that they both have recruited at such a high level. The new pieces that are coming in, they're not – Texas and Ohio State don't expect those guys to take a step backwards.
Right.
Yep.
With when they come in. I mean, they expect someone to replace Josh Simmons. That's pretty darn good, right?
Right.
They expect the running back. He may not be Keyshawn Judkins or Travion Henderson, but he's going to be pretty darn good. You know,
yeah.
in Texas went about 10 years there where they weren't Texas in that regard. Steve Sarkisian now has that back. And so when you go out and watch a practice at Texas, it looks like it's supposed to look. Ohio State has had that kind of look going on 2 decades, you know, so since I've been following it, at least 3.
Yeah.
Right.
So my point being to y'all is that I just feel like whether it's 1 or 2 or 6 or 5 or whatever the numbers we are, will end up being, there is no doubt in my mind that these are 2 of the most 3 or 4 or 5 most talented teams in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, you could throw a Georgia in there if you don't talk about quarterback. You could throw maybe an Alabama in there. You could throw maybe a Penn State this year because of not overall, not the depth. But
I get it.
I know what you're saying.
Experience.
You're gonna, whatever the group may be of that top echelon, I think you're gonna put Ohio State and Texas into that bucket.
Yeah.
And so I think it makes for a hell of a matchup on the first day of the year.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're talking about 2 teams that have, you know, top 5 blue chip ratios in the country. Like last year, Ohio State was number 1. They had a 90% blue chip ratio. This year, they're tied with Alabama at 89. So that's an interesting point you bring up, because I'm sure it's the same on your side. Where on our side, there are some positions that we expect upgrades on over draft picks that just went to the NFL, and we expect them to do better than a 3rd-round draft pick linebacker. For instance, one position on our team, we expect our linebackers to be better, and Cody Simon just got drafted into the NFL and is doing well from what we've heard. So very similar in that regard. And on that note, I wanted to start off because there has not been any major injuries, right, for the Buckeyes in fall camp. And we've seen some, you know, I call them rumors until I get them, you know, solidified. And I think you're about to do that for me. Are there any injuries that you're concerned with as a Texas football fan for the Ohio State game in particular?
There are 2. There were multiple injuries over the weekend, just so y'all know. Texas had its 2nd and final scrimmage on Saturday. Sark only does 2 scrimmages. Saturday was their final one. Trevor Gooseby is the most notable as of right now. He's the starting left tackle for the Longhorns. His hand got kind of mangled in a pass pro drill, caught up in a jersey, is what I'm told. He'll ultimately be fine.
Yeah,
but he's really highly thought of.
Yeah,
possible early round pick. You talked about, you know, replacing draft picks with draft picks, and you know, some mock drafts already have Trevor Gooseby, who started 2 games last year.
Yeah,
2 games. They have him in the first round of the draft because he was behind Kelvin Banks, who was, I think, a top 15 pick or so.
Right.
So that's the kind of talent y'all have, you know, at linebacker. It's kind of freaky when we talk about it. It's like an embarrassment of riches, right? Gooseby would be the one on offense that is most concerning. He also is concerning, guys, because Texas earlier this offseason and the first week of fall camp lost one of their older backup tackles.
Oh, okay.
So now they're somewhat thin. They lose Gooseby, they may end up be playing a freshman or kicking out a junior guard out to tackle.
Yeah.
Sounds like us
which
last year.
y'all are also familiar with. So
yes,
from last year. And so it's those kinds of things that on offense. So Trevor Gooseby is one. They mentioned a couple of the guys that got injured that would be back later this week in practice. A couple of them already practiced today. The other one that I would put a circle around is Murad Watson, young man that transferred from Syracuse to Texas. He was a freshman All-American at Syracuse. He was definitely going to be in the rotation at defensive tackle. He was nicked up and did not participate in much of the scrimmage on Saturday. I don't know his exact prognosis, but Sark's acting like he'll be back. Now, you know, is that gamesmanship by the head coach? I don't know. But those are the only two significant ones. Maybe the best news of all, a camp for Texas also revolves around an injury, Dev, and that is the running back Cedric Baxter. Cedric Baxter in preseason camp last year, tore his MCL, his ACL, his LCL, and his PCL.
He blew out his entire knee?
Gone. Okay, and this was a guy that was number 1 or 2 running back in the country, depending on
Nick Saban.
He was a beast.
Yeah, depending on whatever service y'all wanted to subscribe to, right? He's a dude.
Yeah.
So he actually is one of those. He's actually one of those team leader types. You wouldn't think it because he's a running back, and running backs can be prima donnas. We all know that at times, right? But he's one of the team leader type guys, and he worked his butt off, and he's gotten him back in shape. And Sark even said in a press availability on Saturday, he goes, "Look, this summer I told Cedric, hey, we don't want you to have to be ready for Ohio State. We got 3 teams after Ohio State that are San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston State.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't there. That's another. I'm not saying it's a week off or 3 weeks off, but y'all
kind of just a tune-up games.
You're Ohio State. You know what I'm talking about. You get those games, and the thought was he was going to do that, and Sark came in and said, "Nah." And then he saw him in the first scrimmage, and he really moved the pile in a pretty good way as a running back because he's really strong. He's like 6'2", 225, 230. He's a big kid. Yeah. And then he really moved the pile well, and then he did it again on Saturday. And so Sark said he had a conversation with the kid, said, "Look, you're going to play." Yeah. Now, does that mean 3 carries or 10 against Ohio?
Well, you guys have a plethora of running backs, so I mean, all it can do is benefit either way. But I watched his interview that he just did last week, and I mean, that kid is impressive. He truly reminds me of like a Travion Henderson in terms of his personality, his spirituality, and his belief, and he wears it on his shoulder. He doesn't have any reluctance in sharing it and testifying, which I found to be refreshing. I always liked the kid coming out of high school. I know Ohio State wanted him really, really bad. He obviously ended up choosing Texas out of Florida, and I think he's going to be a tremendous player and a tremendous asset. And I hope he stays healthy, but that he has a terrible game August 30th.
Yeah, man.
I'll tell him you said that.
Yeah.
One thing Oh, I'm sorry. Let me finish this. One thing I will say about that. Just to give you an idea, he's not 100%. He's still wearing a knee brace. A running back wearing a knee brace is not 100%.
Yeah.
Y'all know that. And so I want to temper expectations, not for Buckeye fans, but for Texas fans out there. But I will say this. I don't think if Cedric Baxter would have been in the game and it was 2nd and goal at the 2, I don't think Sark's calling a toss pitch.
Yeah.
It's Trey Weiser. So I'm going to put that out there. But while they do have a plethora of running backs, I say that, Melo.
Yep.
They didn't have that move the pile guy.
Yeah, big back. Big physical through the A gap.
Yeah, they had Jaden Blue. Yeah, they had Jaden Blue who could run for days, right? Yep. And they had Trey Weiser, who's more of a cutback lane type of runner.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, man, I was gonna go through like each position, but we got a cutoff time at 8 p.m. tonight, and I realized that's impossible. So I'm gonna go a different route here, and I'm just gonna talk to you about like the aspects of this game that I'm gonna be paying close attention to, and in turn, we're gonna be bringing up a lot of position groups. So I mean, Melo will probably agree with this one. One of the things that I'm real curious about, when talking about your running backs, is I'm real curious about your running backs and your offensive line, because I am curious as to how this Buckeyes defense holds up against the run, right? not our starting defensive tackles, but the depth behind is something that Buckeye Nation has been talking about. We wanted one in the portal. At least the Buckeye fans did. The coaches went in and got a couple defensive ends, but we are replacing all 4 starters from last year with a first-round defensive tackle. And, our defensive ends, they were all, drafted before the 5th round. So that's a lot to replace. So that's one of the things I'm going to be keeping an eye on. And you mentioned a couple offensive line bang-ups at Texas, but they're like Ohio State. They just plug and play somebody else, and you're pretty good, man. And I was specifically going to ask about Baxter because I heard that he's been doing better, and I know that he's just kind of a freak in nature at the running back position. So I was real curious there as well. But that being said, your thoughts on your run game this year? With all these things you're saying, Baxter, maybe not 100%, a couple injuries on your offensive line. What are you expecting in particular out of your run game for this upcoming game?
I think that is a really good question. I think that just like Ohio State, Texas has 4 new starters on the offensive line this year. I mean, 3 of them went to the NFL draft. One of them got picked up as a free agent. Looks like he's going to make the team. So they had 4 starting offensive linemen last year. They're gone. They moved their right guard that got whipped by Jack Sawyer on the 3rd down play of that. They moved him to center. So he's the new center this year. They have pieces to the puzzle on offensive line. I think people are concerned because Texas did not have a great run game a year ago. I think that was a byproduct more of their personnel because even though they had running backs, they lost the 2 kids that I think could move the pile prior to the season. I mentioned Cedric Baxter, Dev. I also need to mention Christian Clark out of Phoenix, Arizona. He is a guy that Texas he's running 3rd team right now for them, but word is he's playing better than that, maybe. Like he's ready to go up a level, so to speak. The point being that I have for you guys on the Texas run game is it's a mystery to us as much as it's a mystery to you for twofold. 4 or 5 new starters, and then the running back situation. How healthy is Cedric Baxter? The one thing I would say is Texas fans felt like Texas, and I don't want to use the term soft, but Texas fans felt like Texas didn't have the girth on the interior that they'll have this year. They will be much heavier bodies.
Yeah.
Center, guard, center.
Sounds like we've been there too.
Yeah. So they may not be as good in pass protection though. Hayden Connor, the left guard for Texas, was really good in pass protection and he was a shield blocker. He shielded people. He didn't move people per se.
Yeah.
Same with the center. And so with the new guys, they think they'll be able to get a little bit better push.
So this is going to be interesting because that talks exactly to what Dev said. We want to see how I think our pass rush is going to be pretty elite, to be honest with you. But we want to see how we perform against the run in terms of run stopping. And it sounds like that's your strength in the O-line. So it's gonna be pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I think it will be tough. I don't know. Typically early, you don't run well. I would say for this game, like I'm not expecting Ohio State or Texas to run the ball particularly well in this game.
Yeah.
On that note, I wanted to bring this up because you said something interesting. So in your mind, you say Ohio State is replacing a lot of their offensive linemen. On our side, right, Josh Simmons, our starting left tackle, he got injured very early in the season, found a replacement, Donovan Jackson. Then our center goes down, the Remington Award-winning center of the year goes down, and we got to bring somebody else and replace him. And that's our offensive line that finished out the playoffs, right? So when we hear, like, to me, we have 4 returning starters on the offensive line, but they came in. So that is up there on the Buckeyes' strengths of this team is that offensive line, man. We have the depth this year. We had it last year. We just didn't know it. But coming into the season, I got our wide receiver room. Then I have our offensive line room for expectations of this team. I expect our offensive line to come out and be dominating because, they played a lot of football together. Now, a couple of them have moved positions, changed their bodies and all that, but we're liking what we're hearing on that side. Now we got a transfer running back, and of course we got James Peoples. James Peoples from Texas, there running back who we have extremely high expectations for. But like I said earlier, sounds like it's a little bit of mystery for you how your O-line is going to perform. It's a little bit of a mystery for us how our defensive line is going to perform. So an interesting, position group battle to pay attention to coming into that. On that note, offensively, we might run into the same answer here, but what is something coming into this game offensively that you have a lot of confidence in with this Texas team? And maybe get into Arch Manning a little bit. We've been talking too long not to talk about Arch Manning and the quarterback. And then what's one area that you're concerned with? You may have already answered that with the run game. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's the confidence in the offense comes mainly from Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah.
I mean, he did not. I mean, look, Isaiah Bond was out last year.
Yeah.
Ryan Wingo was hurt even in this national semifinal. DeAndre Moore had a toe injury all season last year and played through it. Yet Sark kind of found ways to massage 14 to 28 points out of everybody, and then Texas had a really good defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my thought process on this is I think Sark is a really good coach on offense that can kind of find ways to score points. I don't know that we'll see this offense that just unloads points in Arch Manning's first start.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm as high on Arch Manning as I've been on any quarterback that's played at Texas. Not played, but that signed with Texas since Vince Young. I mean, I think he's a special young player. Will he be that day one if right tackle can't block your edge? No. And so I think that the passing game, especially mid-range to downfield, will test Ohio State. Because I think Wingo can go. I mean, he's a 10,
he can definitely go.
Yeah, he's a 10, 500-meter guy, and he's 6'2", 200. I mean, if there weren't freaks like Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams out there, you'd hear more about Ryan Wingo, right?
That might be the best wide receiver class probably ever.
Yeah.
Cam Coleman, Ryan Wingo, JJ. You have Ryan Williams as well.
Yep. Yeah, when Williams went accelerated a year.
Yeah, he reclassified.
Yeah, that was big. But so I can't, Dev. I don't know what the strength is going to be.
You said your strength, Sarkisian, which is a very good answer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think he's got. We'll see. I think that the weakness, if you're worried about one, is the offensive line, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
I feel good about tight end. They picked up. It's funny. Texas had two visitors for tight end. Max Clare, who signed with Ohio State, and Jack Indries. And I think I've seen them both like first or second team or second and third team All-Americans. Indries, much like I think Clare is a taller, rangier receiver type. Yeah. Indries is more of an inline guy, but had 56 catches last year. He led Cal in receiving.
Oh, wow.
So he's an NFL player. The question is, for me, how does that all mesh first time? I mean, you just don't know. I mean, there's so many. The thing that I would tell y'all is that there's just so many talented athletes that are going to be on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Jeremiah Smith, or JJ Smith, I guess is what y'all call him. He goes up and freak catches. I mean, nobody's going to stop that.
Yeah.
No, I really don't think many people are going to stop Colin Simmons off the edge.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're going to try to chip, Anthony Hill's really, really talented. And I know y'all have, more than one receiver. And Sayin is got his own abilities that need to be dealt with. I mean, it's.
Yeah. We'll dive into the defensive side here in a minute, but I wanted to touch on something. Arch Manning, right? A lot of preseason hype. Obviously, you got the name. and then you have the games that he went in last year. So as a Texas fan, what type of hype do you have? Is your confidence level like the same as the national media? I'm guessing not, because first time starting quarterbacks, but how much confidence do you have now that he got in those games that he got in last year and seemed to shine? Do you take into account the competitiveness of the game, the person he was playing? Like, where are you at with Arch? Are you at a, hey, he's going to be good? Or are you more of a wait and see? Or you just going off his high school film? Where are you at with that personally?
You go out and watch him go through a workout.
Yeah.
You guys.
Yeah.
Y'all have seen guys that walk out on Ohio State's campus where you're like,
Yeah, he's it.
You're going to be making money someday. That's kind of what you look at. Yeah. And he had better footwork and better mechanics and all of those things than Quinn Ewers. All of that, stronger arm than Quinn. Quinn did. Long story short, I'll try to keep this. Yes, I'm a big believer. I know his stock is sky high. I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman. I think that's ludicrous. In some reason, for whatever reason, but I think his name is so big. But I would say that you give him 2 years, give him 24 to 16 games or 24 to 28 games as a starter at Texas. I think Texas is going to go deep in the playoffs, deep playoffs, because they'll have a great quarterback, not a good one, but a great one. Now it may not be out of the gate in Columbus.
I mean, you guys have some. You got some talent coming in just in this 26 class. I live about 2 miles from Tyler Atkinson, so his high school, so I watch him a lot. So I think you guys are on the right trajectory. As long as Sark doesn't bolt for the NFL, because you hear rumors about that as well, right?
Yeah, I heard Ryan Day was supposed to be going to the Bears too, right?
and the Patriots and everything else, man. But it sounds like we got 2 new starting quarterbacks, 2 very highly rated, very sought after, coming out of their recruiting class. A lot of talent surrounding them, from the running back, the tight ends, the receivers. Of course, all about Ohio State's wide receiver group. When you add Max Clare into that, we haven't had a talent at tight end like Max Clare in quite some time. Couple that, with J.J. Smith and Carnell Tate and Brandon Ennis. I'm extremely curious because Texas did a good job in the Cotton Bowl with, handling J.J. Smith to the best of their ability, better than most of the other teams did. So I'm curious to see there, but ultimately I think you're going to see from both offenses that, it takes a minute for everything to just start clicking right, man. And live game reps are just a little bit different. So I think offensively on that side of the ball, it's, man, there's going to be mistakes, but can you space those mistakes out long enough to make a run and get some points put on the board, man? And to me, what this game is going to come down to, the more I think about it, is, man, whose defense is able to come up with these stops, man. I just think that with everything, and I know we have a high-power, loaded offense. A lot of Ohio State fans are going to say that, and I think we'll put points up, but I think you guys will too. It's just what defense is going to step up when they need to and make that stop at the goal line like Ohio State did all last year. No wonder we go out and win a national title. We had so many goal line stands. You guys were part of, the most famous one last year. I was at that game, by the way, my favorite playoff game. And, I came out of the game giving Texas fans an F- because I sat beside one Texas fan who I had to separate from him and my brother from fighting and him fighting other people. It just got wild. But anyway, that's a whole different story. So defensively, man, you guys went in the portal and took every defensive tackle that was available. What the heck, dude? Why? Why?
I'll tell you why. So y'all lost 4 defensive tackles, you said. All right.
No, we lost
defensive linemen. We lost 2 defensive tackles.
Okay. So Texas lost its first 4 defensive tackles to graduation, and they lost 2 others to the portal. So they lost 6 defensive tackles.
Okay.
So
I didn't realize that.
So the only one they really had coming back that clearly is going to be, or most likely is going to be, an NFL player is a young man named Alex January. I think he played 10 to 15 snaps against Ohio State. he didn't play. He wasn't a regular rotational guy until later in the year when people started getting a little banged up. He was a true freshman last year. He's a sophomore now. He's firmly in that group. And then they got Murad Watson. Hero Kanu, I think, is going to be in the rotation, whether he's at the top of that or down it. Can't really say that. Cole Brevard, who's a 3-year starter, I think, or 2-year starter at Purdue, signed with Penn State out of high school. He's kind of a patchwork guy. And then guy that's really shown well is a former 5-star out of North Carolina who was in their defensive tackle rotation for 3 years, a guy named Travis Shaw. He's about 6'5", 340. And he should have they think he should have had surgery a year ago or 2 years ago and never had it. Texas had him have surgery this spring, and they feel like they got a different player, a better one.
Yeah.
And so to y'all's point, the reality of it is that Texas had to go in the portal. They weren't going to take no for an answer at defensive tackle. That's what happened. That's why Murad Watson. I mean, that was probably the one that stung the most.
The Syracuse.
The Syracuse kid for Ohio State, because Texas just, they couldn't. Y'all get into those situations as well where you just you don't want to take no for an answer.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I bring that up because from where I sit and the information I've gathered from Texas, they're in the conversation for best defensive line in the country. Is that fair to say? Would you say that in that space? I haven't done any research. You just see Twitter talk and all this stuff, and a lot of people seem to have that opinion. So from your side, you consider that going to be a strength of your team this year?
I would say the front seven is.
The front seven, with the linebackers included.
Yeah, they've got 2 returning starters at linebacker. Anthony Hills can be a difference maker. He's one of those guys that might make a play or two where you go, ooh, that's what I to be honest with you, and not to sidebar too much, but that is so much what I'm looking forward to this game about. Is I think we're going to see a couple guys that are going to play football for a long, long time. You know what I mean? And you're going to see them in their young stages of their real, true football career. And this game is a perfect game to be a showcase for that coming out party of sorts. Yeah. But to your point, I think it's the front seven in general. Texas is as good at edge as they have been since I've been doing this. The 05 team had a guy named Brian Robeson that played 10 years for the Vikings, and Sergio Kendall, a second-round pick, and Brian Arakpo. Tim Crowder played, I think, 8 years in the league.
I remember Arakpo.
Yeah, those guys, that's the kind of edge room Texas has right now, is that I'm not saying they're going to, it's just – they took a kid from Arkansas named Brad Spence, and I know Ohio State uses the portal effectively like Texas. It's not a wholesale thing typically for either Ohio State or Texas. It's more of a, we need this piece. Let's go get that. Yeah. But there was a guy they took out of Arkansas that really went under the radar named Brad Spence. And Brad played linebacker at Arkansas last year and had 4.5 sacks at linebacker. Texas has moved him to edge. Okay. And they think he has just incredible get off. Yeah. And so it's interesting. But Colin Simmons is maybe the focal point of that defensive line, in my opinion. I think that young man, I don't care who you are. It's like, I dislike Johnny Manziel. Okay. He's an A&M guy, but I gotta admit it's fun watching him play football a little bit. Yeah. There are guys like that where you're still like, hey, he's pretty good at football. He's
good at football.
Yeah.
What's funny, man, is you're like describing your defense and some players on your defense, and every time you do, a similar Ohio State player pops up in my mind. It's just reminding me how evenly matched this game is. You got your linebacker, just the one you were just talking about, first round draft pick. We got Arvell Reese, super high expectations, first round expectations coming for him. We got Kenyatta Jackson Jr. on the edge, who We got first-round expectations there. We got C.J. Hicks, went from linebacker to edge, and all we're hearing about is his get-off, right? So it's just
Sonny Styles, we're not going to forget about that.
Yes. I
he's
mean,
different.
Dude, it goes on and on, man, but it's just crazy how you're sitting here talking about it. It's just like, dang, man, this sounds like Ohio State. And it's just like that, packed with talent, man. Fan base, kind of similar as well, and very large, very passionate about their football. So, Melo, what about you, man? Anything on the defensive side of the ball? Any
I got some questions. So, for me, I think a key for you guys is going to be your secondary. So what is your secondary looking like? And I was watching one of your podcasts. I don't think it might not have necessarily been yours. It might have been a different Texas podcast, but they're talking about the DC wants to run a single high safety for most of the season. And do you expect them to run that on August 30th? Because I think if they do, they're going to be in a world of trouble.
Yeah, I don't. And they didn't last year when they played Ohio State.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're not dumb.
Yeah.
I think when you play Mississippi State, you treat that differently. And so anybody that would have said that, Texas and Pete Kwiatkowski, what he's done, he came from he coached with Pete Kwiatkowski is the defensive coordinator, coached with Chris Peterson at Washington and at Boise State.
Okay.
A long-time defensive coordinator. He loves to be multiple. Absolutely loves to play situational ball with people. Yeah. He likes to get on the chalkboard and try to, we're going to do this because y'all's strength is that. And let's move this quarterback to the left, or let's move this quarterback to the right, because he is that kind of guy. And he didn't look like it the first year he's at Texas because he didn't have the pieces.
Yeah.
And every year since he's been at Texas, he's gotten more and more pieces, and it's gotten better and better. But to Melo's point, the secondary is an issue because Texas lost a first rounder in Jahdae Barron and a second rounder in Andrew Makuba. They moved their safety down to nickel, one of the safeties, Michael Taft. Interestingly, you talk about guys that just come out of nowhere. I mean, Andrew Makuba for Texas was a backup to start last season, and he went in the second. So he was behind the guy is going to start this year, Derek Williams. Derek tore his ACL in the fourth game of the year last year, something like that.
Yeah.
So Derek's back and said to be doing really well. Jelani McDonald. I mean, Texas has some safety. The two safeties for Texas, they look like, you would like prototypical NFL level safeties.
Gotcha.
The question I have is at nickel and both corners. I think they're susceptible there at this point. Not necessarily to everybody, but to Ohio State in particular, because of who you have.
Yeah.
And it's not just, and I'll be, it's not just J.J. Smith.
Right.
Who's the little guy I saw in the
Brandon Ennis?
No. In the spring game,
Mylan Graham.
Goodness gracious! I mean, those are
like
going to be
wide receiver number 5 right now.
Yeah. Okay. If he's wide receiver number 5, they got speed. Because my point being, those kind of guys would give Texas some problems. But look, if the pass rush gets there for Texas, how much time is Julian saying it's going to be throwing back shoulders all day? I mean, that's what I think might happen to both teams, to be honest.
Yeah. We'll see, man. You mentioned Texas's secondary. This is one of the position groups on the Ohio State team that I think is going to be an upgrade from last year, particularly with Jermaine Matthews coming in at corner. He was our backup corner last year, freshman All-American corner, who I just think he's just got the tools, man. And we saw Denzel Burke struggle a little bit last year. Love Denzel Burke, heck of a player, man. Won us a national title and really came around the second half of the year. But Jermaine back there, and we got two safeties that are battling for starting position right now, but both of them are capable of playing. Lorenzo Styles, they're nickel. But, I mean, our depth there as well. Devin Sanchez, you know him, Texas corner, the number one corner. Yeah. with the Buckeyes now, freshman, but he's coming on strong, dude. And same with their linebacker position, man. The Buckeyes have been going into Texas these past couple recruiting classes, and I got to give it to y'all, man. You guys do high school football the right way, because every single Texas recruit that we get in this program is a stud. I mean, Peyton Pierce is essentially a starting linebacker this year, and it's just kind of crazy, man. So, of course, we got Caleb Downs back there, who is, arguably, or not arguably in my eyes, but the best defensive player in the country. And, man, it's just going to be a battle, dude. If it's anything like that, the game I went and watched in the playoffs, dude, holy crap, you're going to watch out, man. It's going to be an interesting battle to see how these quarterbacks handle. It's a lot of pressure, man. First game of the season, dude. Buckeyes and Texas. We get the home field advantage. 2 new starting quarterbacks. But, dude, packed full of just five-star talent, coaches, both highly thought of in college football. There's not an argument there. Like, there's no argument that Steve Sarkisian is a bad offensive-minded coach. You just can't say it, and you can't say that about Ryan Day either. You just talked about your defensive coordinator, and as you're describing him, I felt like you were describing our new defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia. I think that's something that going to throw you guys a little bit of a curveball. You don't got film to go watch from Matt Patricia. You can go back and watch the Patriots all you want, but he's got different tools now, and we're setting up for it. So you got 2 elite coaching staffs with an elite roster meeting at the Horseshoe on August 30th. I think it's just going to be freaking fireworks, man. I'm not expecting a super high scoring game. I'm just not. I'm expecting the, 24, 25 points scored in that game. Somebody can win it with 24, 25. That's my expectations for the game. But, kind of getting close to time here, Bobby. So what are your expectations for the game? You don't got to put a score on it unless you already have and already put that out there, what you think. Go ahead and give it to us. But if not, what are your expectations? And, you're going to have to do it. I bet you I know who you're going to pick, but you got to tell us at least who you're picking to win, man.
Oh, this is going to be interesting because, no, I picked Ohio State.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you? You seriously did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have Texas going 10-2 this year.
Okay.
I think I think that Ohio State has more experience. Like your offensive line comment really hit home earlier, Dev.
Yeah.
But it's not that I think that it's a gimme. Right. I think there's going to be a number of games. I think there are really 5 games on the Texas schedule that I think are There's Ohio State. There's Florida at Florida.
Yeah.
There's OU in the Cotton Bowl, which is always – it's kind of like Michigan, Ohio State. It doesn't matter what the record are before you go play that game.
Yep.
Sometimes it just doesn't make sense who wins it. And then you also have Georgia on the road.
That one's going to be tough.
Right. Well, they lost twice to them last year. And then you have A&M at home to close, which is another rivalry game.
Yeah.
So my point to y'all, Texas plays 5. I don't want to call them toss-up games because Texas will be favored by 7 to 10 points in 3 of them probably.
Yeah.
But I would say this: 1 bounce of the ball, 1 errant interception, 1 fumble on your goal line, 1 block punt, and all of a sudden there's a ripple effect. But I went with Ohio State because I think they have a little bit more experience. I think that they beat Texas last year, and Texas got to go prove it. I mean, Texas got to do it against Ohio State and Georgia. Those are the 3 losses for Texas last year: 2 to Georgia and 1 to Ohio State.
That is a brutal schedule. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I mean, if Florida has DJ Lagway, yes, that's a very tough game. But if DJ Lagway is not there and we don't know if he's going to be able to stay healthy, then I mean, I think you guys win that. Georgia is just the fact of being at UGA is going to be a night game. I think they only lost in Kirby Smart's era. I think they lost 2 or 3 home games total. So that's where it's going to be tough. But I think in terms of if it was like a neutral site, I think you guys would smack them. I think you just have a better roster. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm here in Georgia. I know when their roster. I think you guys just have a better roster. But being at UGA, that's gonna be a really tough game. I'm looking forward to. I think these are the two best teams, like I said in the beginning, in terms of talent, overall talent, execution, coaching, the whole 9 yards from top to bottom. I think we're getting at August 30th. I think this is going to be, if it was later in the season, will easily be the best game of the season. But it still has the potential to be the best game. But I'm expecting a little bit of sloppy play because it's the first game and there's so many changes. But like, it's gonna be a phenomenal game. I'm looking.
I hope. I'm one of those that's glad it's not a night game. I've been to the shoe at night before. That is a big atmosphere to go into. So, look, I think that Sark has a really good record. I want to say this: Sark in the last 3 years, I think, is something like 12-0 in true road games.
Yeah.
So he's done in true road games. Now that doesn't count the Cotton Bowl, obviously, right? And he's done really well early season games. Y'all saw what they did to Michigan last year. Yeah, the year before.
I was happy about that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yes.
The year before that was Alabama. At Alabama. So Sark's got a little thing figured out early season. We'll see if that holds true against what may be the toughest opponent yet that they played this early in the season.
Yeah. I'm picking the Buckeyes in this game. Obviously, I know a lot about the Buckeyes, and I really like to take my fan glasses off in this. I just think when you got arguably two of the top 5 players in the country with J.J. Smith and Caleb Downs on your team, and you recruit at the level we do, and you bring in the coaches you do, and you're at home. I think we're a 2.5, 3-point favorite right now, But like you said, man, if one team doesn't take care of the football and the other one does, that's going to be the difference in this game. You know what I mean? So, and we know how football is. It's a game of inches. It's a gauge of momentum. Even if you can cheat and steal one sign by pre-scouting your opponent for one play, that's an advantage on that game, and it can change the entire game. So, just an example to bring up, not that any teams have done that recently or anything, but Bobby, real quick, man.
I'm ready to see big plays. I mean, it's been a long off season, right?
Yeah.
I think that as fans, college football fans, I appreciate y'all having me tonight. That's what I really look forward to, is watching great players play football. And thankfully, it had been a long time for me, about a decade of a drought for Texas until the last few years. And so they're doing really well. Love to see what happens this year.
Yep. Yeah, no doubt, man. I think another aspect of this game doesn't get talked about is the momentum from the last time we saw each other in the Cotton Bowl, man. There's some of those players were in that game, the coaches were, and that was a highly, highly emotional game. Some of that is going to get carried over. Them players can't help it, man. I was a fan, and I know how strong those emotions were. So it's going to be a fiery heck of a game. You better tune in and watch it. It's going to go down as one of the best games in this regular season. I mean, that is my opinion. But Melo, any closing statements? We got to get out of here.
Yeah, can you just shout out where the Buckeye fans could tune in and watch you, because he gives out great information. If you want to learn about Texas before the game, I'm telling you, tune into his show. It's amazing. You'll learn a lot. You'll come back a better football player to argue with your Texas fans about why Ohio State's going to win, or why whatever the aspect is going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. The channel's called OnTexasFootball. We have a weekday morning show from about 8:15 to 9:15 every morning Central Time called Coffee and Football. Myself, Jerry Hamilton, who's a long-time recruiting guy with ESPN, and we have a host, Blake Monroe, and then we have a couple of other guys, but really our key guy is Rod Babers, who all-conference player at the University of Texas, multi-year NFL guy. He talks a lot about the defensive backs. He's a corner, so he kind of sees that. He calls himself a football investigator because he likes to dig in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's as big a geek as most people watching this show right now.
Good point.
You know what I mean? When it comes to football.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do on our channel. We have a nightly live stream. I actually got to go do one here in a couple minutes. But you guys have a good time, and I appreciate y'all having me. It's been fun talking.
Thanks for coming on.
Look, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll be up in Columbus in 12 days.
Nice, Bobby. Well, hey, We'll get you on the schedule for next year. Do this again, man, for when we play you guys at your home. And I'm excited to watch the game. Yeah, Buckeye fans, go check the channel out. Bobby, appreciate you coming, man. God bless you, brother. Have a good night.
Melo and Dev, y'all take care. Hook 'em horns.
OH.
All right, Buckeye fans. Mike Green, thank you so much for the $4.99. Melo is our pit bull on the channel. Laugh out loud. All love, family. Don't come for me. I don't want no smoke. Haha. By the way, OH.
IO.
Yeah, you got 2 pit bulls on this channel. I'm following right behind Melo. Where Melo goes, you will find Devan. So good luck with that one to all who want to tread those waters. But we're going to try praying for you first, man. We're not that way anymore. But hey, Buckeye fans, check this out. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. On the Buckeye Boys channel, BJ Womack coming on. You want to know
8
about
minutes.
Braylon Womack and all this stuff. 8 minutes, man. That's why we're getting off here. We're going right over to that. So BJ's in there waiting for us. It's going to be like a quick 15, 20-minute show, dude. They got another call with Ohio State tonight. So tune in there, man. You want some details about what he's doing. All you Ohio State fans that are frustrated, tune in. You might learn a little something that Ohio State is doing, dude. They're cooking up a little something. So we'll see. But on that note, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you over there. Go Buckeyes. OH.
IO.